everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Turns out keeping my YouTube channel alive was a little more difficult for me than I thought when I posted my update a year ago. But a lot of things in my life has changed since that point, and I'm starting to feel really creative again, and I have a lot of things since then that I want to get off my chest, that I want to talk about, that I want to share and introduce and show. So it was time to take out my phone and push record and start talking. I'm gonna start off with the biggest piece of news, which is that me and my husband, recently moved to Fukuoka. Fukuoka, if you don't know, is the biggest city in the southern part of Japan called Kyushu. It is also, I believe, the sixth biggest city in Japan. And it's just the best place in the country, if you ask me. In the end of September this year, we left our jobs, we threw out or sold most of our furniture, packed our bags, jumped on the Shinkansen and plane, and landed in Fukuoka. It's been about a month and like a week or so since we moved. So this is still a quite freshly moved into apartment, and we still have some furniture that we need to get, like a couch and whatnot. But anyway, if you have followed me for quite a while, you'll know that this is not my first time living in Fukuoka. I started off my kind of whole Japan journey on Kyushu, first in Kumamoto, which is the prefecture next to Fukuoka, and then after that, as a language school student, I moved to Fukuoka to study in a Japanese language school, which you probably know if you follow me on this channel. I moved to Fukuoka in 2017 and lived here for 2 years, and in 2019 I moved up to Kanagawa to start university, and I studied for 4 years, and then I've been working for a while. So in total I've been away from Fukuoka for around 6.5 years. But throughout my time in Kanagawa, the whole time I knew that at some point I was going to return to Fukuoka. I remember actually before I moved, when I was still in Fukuoka, I made that promise to a friend. I don't know if it was a promise, but I told her I will be back. It's probably gonna be a while, but I will be back. I will come back to Fukuoka again. As things turn out, I met my husband up in Kanagawa, and he is actually from Fukuoka. That is not the main reason why we got married, but I just think it's such a cool kind of coincidence that I had my kind of favorite place in Japan that I really felt that I needed to come back to, and then I ended up meeting someone who was actually from that area. That's cool. So we talked pretty early on in our relationship about that we did want to move back to Fukuoka for a lot of different reasons, and our kind of values and priorities really matched. If you don't know, living in Kanagawa or Tokyo or anywhere, I guess, in kind of the central Kanto area is quite busy. That's not to say that I didn't love my time there. Like, I had a really, really good time for the most part, except for a little bit of COVID stuff in Kanagawa. But since I am planning to stay in Japan long term, and me and my husband want to properly settle down somewhere in Japan, I'm not saying that Kanagawa or Tokyo is a bad place. There are a lot of people living there and having really happy lives, but for us, we wanted things that were not quite easily reachable, I suppose, in the Kanto area. Things like peace and quiet. This is not only for Fukuoka, but generally living far away from the biggest cities in Japan is quite a lot cheaper. I think I'm gonna make other content talking a little bit more in detail about my experience living in both places and kind of comparing them, but let's just say that it's cheaper, less crowded, trains are way nicer, the distance between different places, main kind of spots in the city, is way shorter. Yeah, basically it's just a place that fits me and my husband's lifestyle better than living long term in Kanto. I've just basically known that I was gonna end up here again eventually, and that turned out to be September of 2025. Another piece of pretty big news, at least for me and my husband, is that, I think we have adopted a cat. When we looked for apartments, both me and my husband knew that we wanted to get a pet, like a big pet, when we moved next time. And so when we decided to move to Fukuoka, we started looking exclusively for pet-friendly apartments, because in Japan they're really strict about pets, and only few apartments, like rental apartments, do allow pets. So it can be quite hard, especially if you have other kind of requirements in terms of like rent or location or size of the apartment. But I think we really lucked out in finding a really nice, pretty big apartment in a nice area in the city that allows pets. And so basically, I think it was around 3 weeks after we moved that we welcomed this little guy. I will properly introduce him in another time. But yeah, I just wanted to show that we have increased our family with a really cute little guy who doesn't like being held but does love his snacks. I hope you can wait to another video for me to introduce him a little bit more properly, because I actually thought I was gonna go out and take a little walk in my favorite area in Fukuoka, and probably honestly my favorite area in all of Japan, my favorite spot. And I thought you could come along, so let's head out. Seems like the rest of the city made the same choice as me today. There's so many people here, which I mean I can understand because the weather is absolutely fantastic today. It's mid-November and it's, when I checked before, it was like 21, 22 degrees or something. Oh, and if I didn't say the name already, this is Ohori Park, located in central Fukuoka, and in my opinion the best spot in the whole city and probably in all of Japan. It's just, it's so nice. I love it. My favorite thing to do here at the park is just to sit down and enjoy the view. You can actually see Fukuoka Tower in the distance. And one of my favorite things is to do turtle spotting. There are actually a lot of turtles swimming around here in the water, and you can sometimes see like a tiny little black kind of dot sticking out of the water. That's a turtle. Quite a lot hotter than I expected today, so I'm gonna see if I can find somewhere with a bit of shade to sit down and enjoy my lunch. We have this bakery near our house that makes the best sandwiches ever. Like everything they have, all of the toppings and flavors, it's all delicious. I can usually only go on weekends since I generally am out for work while they're open, but yeah, today's a Saturday, so I had to get one. Moving to Fukuoka from Kanagawa was quite a big thing for us. Both me and my husband, we basically changed careers along with this move. So we quit our jobs in Kanagawa and had to look for new jobs. It was quite a short process. We had talked about moving to Fukuoka for a couple of years, but when we actually decided to actually move, it took 4 months from deciding should we just go to actually jumping on the plane and the Shinkansen and actually going. So we've had to not only get used to a new city. It's not a new city for me since I lived here 2 years, but a new area. I think it is quite a big deal to pack up and leave. I lived in Kanagawa for 6.5 years. My husband 7.5. We had a very strong, close-knit community. We had our jobs, we had our routines, our favorite supermarkets, our favorite beach spots, everything like that. But I don't know How about you guys? Do you like this kind of big change? I actually quite like kind of pulling the roots up and leaving. I don't know if that's maybe a bit too strong, but I do like change. And it's not like I feel like it's a clean slate because I'm coming back to a place where I've already lived before, but I'm coming back as an adult, not as a student, but as a worker, a lot older, a little bit wiser. And yeah, it's just great being back in southern Japan again and getting to rediscover a lot of places, this time with my husband. I do have a lot of things that I want to talk about that I feel like I need to get off my chest in terms of working in Japan, looking for jobs, living in different areas, just like different experiences that I've had. And yeah, I said this a year ago in my last life update video, but if there's anything specific you would like to know about, I don't know, my life in Japan or any kind of advice, insight. Of course, it's been a while since I went to language school and studied Japanese, but I'm very much still interested in the language, and I'm not studying it right now, but I do still have all of the experience from studying it before, so I can totally still give advice and tips and stuff like that. So if there's anything specific you would like to know from this little simple life in Japan, just let me know.